Become a fan of Anna's.
In today's Legal Affairs segment, probate. When someone dies, the estate must go through probate, which can be a complicated and lengthy process. However, Arizona provides less complicated options for smaller estates. Our legal contributor, Craig Wisnam, joins us now. Thank you very much for being with us,
Thank you, Martha.
First of all, where does probate take place?
Generally, probate is when someone dies and they have assets that now need to be transferred on to the people they've named in their wills, or if they don't have a will, who the law says is entitled to their estate. So probate's the process of getting someone appointed who can take care of all of that.
So even if you've made a will,
even if you've made a will,
it still must go through probate?
Exactly.
All right.
Revocable trusts will avoid probate if they're done properly, but a will not.
All right, so what's the next step?
Well, in a situation where people don't have a huge amount of money sometimes, or something is left out of a revocable trust, or everything else was provided for, sometimes people say, well, what happens if there's just a few things, little things, a small bank account, a vehicle is a very common one and such. But Arizona has procedures where if assets are below a certain threshold, you don't have to go through this whole court probate proceeding. Even though it's not as bad as people think, it's still some money, it's still some time and expense, and if you're just dealing with, you know, mom or dad's old Chevrolet, it may not be worth it.
But when you say a small amount of money, what kind of money are we talking about?
The limit for personal property, which is anything other than real estate, is $50,000. So if someone dies and they have a $30,000 bank account that's just in their name, the good news is the beneficiaries don't have to go through probate. They can go through this affidavit process that's available for a small estate to collect it.
And do they still need the help of an attorney, or can they do it themselves?
They may need an attorney, but if they do, that attorney probably won't need to do very much, and it may be something they can take care of without an attorney.
What kinds of things are exempt from the probate?
Things that have some sort of mechanism to automatically pass on to the named beneficiaries. Joint tenancy with right of survivorship, which is the way most husbands and wives and some other owners have property. And that means it automatically goes to the survivor, the same way with a lot of bank accounts that husbands and wives and sometimes parents and children have. Life insurance, if it names a beneficiary, doesn't go through probate. An IRA or a 401k, if it names a beneficiary, doesn't go through probate. So for a lot of people, most of the stuff may not need to go through probate anyway, but you might have something that's left out, and that's why the affidavit process is important.
Okay, and we want to tell folks at home, if there's anything that you want Craig to talk about, any legal issue. We had a gentleman ask about setting up a foundation, and we're going to talk about that in a couple of weeks when you come back. So if there's any ideas that you would like Craig to talk about, just let me know. Email me at mbosquez@kvoa.com, and we'll make sure and pass it on to Craig, and we'll talk
try
about
to answer it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Craig. All righty.